Land lease communities are booming across Australia. There's some good reasons for that. One of that is because there's a lot of financial benefits from land lease living, including the fact that there's no stamp duty and also the ability to get rent assistance, particularly if you're a pensioner. But despite the fact that these communities are booming, until now, there hasn't actually been a product available to allow people to get a loan to move into these communities. And that's actually stopped many people from being able to get not only the financial benefits of land lease living, but also being able to get many of the social benefits of land lease living, living in a strong community and a lot of the facilities as well. But a company has just been launched, which is offering a loan product. It's a very interesting company with a very interesting founder, and I'm glad to announce he's joining me on the line now. So hello, Andrew Ralph, the founder at Land Lease Home Loans. Andrew, welcome to downsizing.com.au.
Hi, Mark, and thanks for having me.
Great. So Andrew, let's just hear a little bit about your background first. How did you become involved in retirement living, and how did you come up with the idea of the company Land Lease Home Loans?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mark. I'm a chartered accountant by background, and I've been in banking for 20 odd years now. In my previous role before founding Land Lease Home Loans, I was specialising in the retirement living sector, which included the land lease community sector as a subsector of that. And in talking to operators and residents and having various meetings both here and overseas in the US, it became really apparent that there was an emerging and an immediate need for a funding product in the market. And having that relationship with Ingenia and the operators, I decided that I would take that and lead the initiative to introduce a product to the market.
So clearly, Andrew, you've realised while you're in that banking industry that no one was doing this currently. People were having to move into land lease communities without any financial support. It was all through their existing deposits or home equity, and there was no way to bridge your way into it. Why was that the case? Why was there nothing available?
Yeah, I think it's partly it's a smallish and emerging market. It takes an in-depth knowledge, I think, of the industry to understand the dynamics of what's involved to provide a lending product. It's been available in the US for 20 plus years now, and it's really driven the growth of that market. And I think with the introduction of the product in the market here, we'll see that same sort of growth and make it available to a younger, perhaps more aspirational buyer. A land lease community doesn't have to be a retirement product.
Yeah. So just tell us a little bit about your initial products and for what sort of land lease communities are you offering these loan products?
Yeah. So we've launched with Ingenia Lifestyle Communities. They've got communities across the eastern seaboard. We plan on launching with the other major operators in the near future. We offer two products, Lifestyle Plus Land Lease Home Loan, which is a typical principal and interest loan. There is an interest-only option available, and the purpose of that is to purchase a land lease home. And then we've got what we call a lifestyle capital loan, which is really targeted at existing residents looking to access the equity in their home, just like a reverse mortgage, and provide an income top-up or a small lump sum, for example, to renovate your home or purchase a car or some sort of personal use asset.
So I think there's quite an interesting backstory in your first customer, Andrew. And whilst we talk about this, we'll show some photographs of you with that first customer. So I understand his name is Ross. I understand he's a retired lawyer and from Northern Queensland. So just maybe explain the backstory of Ross and how he managed to use your product to get into a land lease community.
Yeah, so Ross is our first customer and a great guy. He, like many people, was not aware that there wasn't a product in the market and sold his home and bought a land lease home and went to refinance his existing mortgage, and subsequently found out that there was no traditional bank in the market that was providing finance. We came along at the right time. Sharon, or Shaz as she likes to be called at Ingenia Lifestyle Harvey Bay, gave Ross our details, and Ross called us and was able to utilise the reverse capital product to purchase his home. So we came along at the right time. Ross came along at the right time for us, and it's a fantastic story that we were able to get Ross into that home at Ingenia Lifestyle, and he's loving it. We stay in contact quite regularly.
So he's in the situation, or he was in the situation, I guess, like a lot of Australians, where he actually didn't own his previous home outright. He had an existing mortgage on it. But the real problem he had is in trying to move across to a land lease community, he couldn't move that mortgage across. So this is what you've done. You've been able to provide that bridge for him to be able to do that, and to use some debt in his purchase. Yeah. And in doing that, the photos show he seems very happy. He was desperate to get into a community. He was sick of home maintenance. He loves the Friday night drinks. It sounds like it's a pretty happy story, really.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing increasingly inquiries coming from people that are looking to move into a land lease community much sooner now than what they otherwise would have been able to do. And many of them have got a mortgage of $200,000 plus. They've got another 15 years odd to repay that loan, and are looking into retirement life with a large mortgage that they're probably finding quite difficult to manage. So we're enabling people to not just downsize into a land lease community, but also downsize their loan and live a much more comfortable financial existence.
And so to that point, what sort of people do you think will take out your loans? Presumably that they would either need a good deposit for their home, yeah, or you would have thought a reasonably modest mortgage that they want to bring across. So I'd imagine this is not a product for people that have almost no savings and are looking at a very high loan, mainly because presumably that at that stage of life, you don't want people with huge mortgages, do you, basically?
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is really a top-up or a product that bridges a gap in their financial life cycle, so to speak. So yeah, we're not looking to provide 80%, 90% LVRs like a traditional bank would for a home loan. We're talking about an LVR of 40%, which means.
Well, you better explain what that acronym means.
Yeah, exactly. So which means if your home's worth let's say it's worth $100,000 for example, obviously it wouldn't be, but you would need 60% of the value of that home, at least, for us to provide you with a loan of $40,000 in this case. Now, if you could find a land lease home for $100,000, you'd be doing well. But that's what the LVR is, how much is the loan versus the value of the property as a percentage.
Yeah. And I guess one of the reasons why this hasn't been offered to date is that you actually need to set up a mechanism to secure the loan against the home and the land as well. And that has taken you some time to actually do this, to properly set that mechanism up, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's at the end of the day, it's the value of the home is in situ on the site. The value of the home and the site agreement, which runs in perpetuity. Those two things and the operator need to marry up. So it makes it a little bit more structured than what a traditional home loan would be. But for all intents and purposes, a customer, it's just a standard loan for them. But we do have some arrangements with the operator that govern the site agreement.
So Andrew, you just explained that your product is initially available via Ingenia, which is one of Australia's biggest land lease community operators, listed on the Australian Securities Exchange. And in fact, there was an announcement earlier this week on the Australian Securities Exchange about your relationship. with Ingenia, but what do you broadly see as the future of your company? I think you alluded to earlier that you would be looking to expand it into other providers across Australia as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our focus at the moment is obviously with Ingenia, and part of that is ensuring that our customer experience is great, and we want to make sure we roll this out in a measured way. But we are in discussions with all of the major operators, so I don't think it will be too far down the track where you see us adding more names to our list of accredited operators. Obviously for people that are standing by, have a look at Ingenia, but by all means contact us, and we can put you on a wait list, so to speak, and or speak to your operator. If they haven't heard of us, then this is a good way of getting us on their radar.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, look, I mean, it's been short but sweet, Andrew, and it's just a bit of a taster of what you've got. So I do appreciate you taking the time, and people obviously need to get their own financial advice, their own independent advice, but worth a look, I would have thought, if you're looking at taking advantage and moving into a land lease community, as so many Australians are looking at doing at the moment. So thank you very much for that, and thank you for joining downsizing.com.au.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Bye.